Taoiseach, the health system, Taoiseach, is in a terrible crisis right now. It's a human resource crisis. Nurses leaving the system on a consistent basis, and indeed graduates, up to 75% leaving our country. The A&E departments are in continual crisis. There's a general shortage across the board in human resource, from doctors, psychiatrists, therapists and many more. Now, the latest waiting list figures reveal a dramatically worsening situation in all of the categories and in all of the hospitals. There are now about 666,000 patients on a waiting list, a national record and, dare I say, a national scandal. The number of outpatients waiting for 12 months and over 109,000 waiting for over 12 months. Total outpatients waiting list 473,000 people. Total inpatient and day cases 85,000 plus. And then you have the pre-admit list 26,000 plus the 61,000 on the planned procedures list, which don't get into the official lists. We have shocking waiting lists for diagnostics, for endoscopies, CT scans and so on. And shockingly of all, there's 10,000 children waiting for over 12 months for an appointment in our Dublin hospitals. And if you go through the categories, I mentioned categories, you go through the hospitals. Waterford, for example, needs serious attention. The outpatient list in Waterford over 12 months has gone up 443% since 2014. 443%. I don't know what's going on there, Taoiseach, but it is incredible. Its inpatient waiting list is up 159%. Since the change and the downgrading and undermining of Waterford, the waiting lists have soared in that particular hospital. For outpatients, you look at the Mater up 55%, Vincent's up 56%, Louth up 96%, Limerick up 108%. Now, Taoiseach, there was a commitment given that the Treatment Purchase Fund would be given back responsibility for waiting lists. That hasn't got into gear yet, hasn't started its work yet. And I want to know why. Because the last year, when the Treatment Purchase Fund was operating, it provided operations for about 33,000 patients in its last year. And it did about 200,000 patients in all up to 2010. And the median waiting time was down to 2.4 months. There seems to be an incredible inertia, Taoiseach, and lack of urgency attached to this crisis in waiting lists, getting worse and getting worse and getting worse.
Thank you, Deputy.
When is the government going to show some urgency in tackling what is clearly an unacceptable crisis in terms of people waiting for urgent appointments and surgery?
Taoiseach.
Shown priority in what is allocated to the health area for 2017, as you know, at $14.5 billion. The government allocated €20 million to the National Treatment Purchase Fund for 2017, rising to €55 million in 2018. Last December, Minister Harris granted approval to the National Treatment Purchase Fund to dedicate €5 million of that to a day case waiting list initiative, with the aim of ensuring that no patient would be waiting for more than 18 months for a day case procedure by the 30th of June 2017. In excess of 2,000 cases will be managed through this process, and those patients, Deputy Martin, are already receiving appointments. In order to reduce the numbers of long-waiting patients, the HSE were asked to develop the waiting list action plans for 2017 in the areas of inpatient, day case, scoliosis and outpatient services, and those plans have now been finalised and will be acted on shortly. The HSE and the INMO both agree that the patient's time spent on trolleys waiting for beds has decreased. I would like to acknowledge the frontline staff and the work that they put into this. Notwithstanding these improvements, the figures are too high, and the Department continues to work with the HSE to identify further measures that can be taken here. In respect of your comment about nursing and midwifery, Management have committed to increasing the nursing and midwifery workforce in 2017 with 1,208 additional permanent posts, conversion of agency-employed staff into HSE direct employees, maternity leave cover, offering all graduating nurses and midwives full-time contracts, a career break scheme, 130 additional undergraduate places this year in 2017, and offering nurses and midwives improved educational opportunities and career pathways. In respect of the HSE has developed an inpatient day case waiting list action plan with engagement from the Department and the NTPF. That plan focuses on reducing the number of patients, as I said. It's estimated that there are 39,000 patients to be treated by the end of October this year, 2017. And the plan sets a target to remove approximately 75% of these patients from the waiting list, that is 29,000 patients, through a combination of normal hospital National Service Plan funded activity, as well as resourcing and outsourcing initiatives utilising the remaining €10 million of Budget 2017 funding. And that represents a 30% increase in activity, which demonstrates the priority attached to it. Our hospitals are now carrying 4 times more procedures in patients aged 65 and over, and twice as many in the under 65 age group since 2000. In 2016 alone, final point, Ciancórla, there has been a 4% increase in inpatient and day case activity over 2015. And last year, almost 1.69 million patients received inpatient or day case treatment in the hospitals, which is an increase of almost 40,000 on the previous year, which I think demonstrates the urgency and the priority attached to this, admitting, of course, that the waiting lists are too long. But this is a serious action being taken to address those problems.
Taoiseach, 12 months ago, the Government agreed in the Confidence Supply Agreement to establish the Treatment Purchase Fund, to re-establish it and its remit in terms of waiting lists. Nothing has happened since then. The 20 million hasn't been spent by the Treatment Purchase Fund, and we're now into May of 2017. Those are the facts, Taoiseach. There has been a lack of urgency. We all saw the scoliosis crisis. It shouldn't have come to the fact where that was revealed in such telling and an effective manner on RTE. But there are still over 4,500 children waiting over 18 months for an appointment in the 3 children's hospitals in Dublin. It's scandalous, Taoiseach. We're talking about all-time records. Now, James Riley, Minister Riley these days, got rid of the Treatment Purchase Fund. And we're now back to the same sort of massaging of figures that he engaged in, widening the timelines, saying we're going to concentrate on the above 18 months. Restore the Treatment Purchase Fund. Don't try and micromanage it. Let it get its systems back and the forensic way it tackled waiting lists in the past get back into play, because too many people, and in particular too many children, are waiting far too long. The execution, Taoiseach, and the delivery of the resolution of these crises simply is not happening in the health area, and clearly is not happening in waiting lists and the waiting times, because they're simply getting longer every time the figures are published, and there's no appreciable gain or sense that the Government are getting on top of the issue.
Taoiseach. Negotiations and discussions we had about formation of government, it was agreed, indeed at your own suggestion, that the National Treatment Purchase Fund would be restored. The restoration was 20 million for 2017, rising to 55 million for 2018. Now, it's not true to say that nothing is happening here, Deputy Martin. The NTPF have now commenced the initiative of the 5 million for day case waiting list initiative, which was approved last December. Well, let me finish. It's expected that in excess of 2,000 patients will receive treatment under this initiative, 2,000 off that waiting list. Secondly, in respect of the outpatient waiting list, it's estimated that there are over 190,000 patients who fall into this category, and the plan sets a target to remove over 50% of these from the waiting list. That is over 95,000 patients. That represents around 5,000 extra patients, a 5% increase in activity from last year in this particular patient cohort. And as I said to you, in respect of the NTPF and the inpatient day case waiting list action plan, they hope to have 39,000 persons treated by the end of October. And the plan sets a target to remove 75% of these patients from the waiting list. That is over 29,000 patients between the normal hospital service plan funded activity, as well as insourcing and outsourcing initiatives, utilising the remaining 10 million of the budget for 2017. So it is being spent and is making serious inroads into the numbers that I've already outlined on the initiatives undertaken by it.
Taoiseach Deputy Jerry Adams, please.